Alright, so this is a video that's an addendum to the previous video about conscious expression, order and chaos, love and fear, because at first sight and first thought of chaos, it is often very confused, because it sounds like something that we don't want in our lives, when in actuality we need chaos to exist in our lives. And I'll explain why in this video. But the point that I want to get across is that chaos is not meant to be feared. It is to be respected, because chaos can destroy you, but we can't fear chaos, because chaos is our greatest teacher. And ultimately, chaos is just a symbolic representation of the foreboding unknown. Basically, the only way to learn is to come into contact with that which you don't already know. You have to come into contact with the unknown. And you got to do that because if you already know the thing, which is the only other option between knowing and not knowing, if you already know the thing, then you don't need to learn what you already know, because you already know it. So you have to go where the chaos is in order to learn, in order to gain more knowledge. And you can't go to the chaos of the unknown if you fear it, because as stated in the previous video, if you fear it, if you fear the chaos, then you'll ignore it. And if you ignore it and hide away from it, then you can't use it to gain knowledge. You can't use the very thing that you need in order to gain knowledge and understand things. So the unknown is represented as chaos because it appears to be disorder and confusion to the uninitiated, to those who don't know what they're looking at, who don't know the knowledge that they're starting to incorporate. However, once the patterns in the disorder are recognized and assimilated into the psyche of the individual, the chaos of the unknown becomes known and mundane. So just for a simple example of experiencing the chaos of the unknown, think of a child who touches a burning stovetop. To the child, the burning stovetop is violently chaotic, and it's terrifying, and they don't know why what they just touched burned them and made them scared. And that is what chaos appears to people. It's chaotic. You don't know what it is, and you just think, oh, well, that thing just hurt me. But something happened when that child touched the burning stovetop. Something very important to what I'm trying to teach in this course, and that is that the child learned a very valuable lesson. The child learned to not touch burning stovetops. That's a lesson that will help the child moving forward, because over time, the chaos of the burning stovetop will get assimilated into the child's psyche as known and mundane. He learns to avoid touching burning stovetops. When he knows that the stovetop is on, based on indicators of heat and stuff like that, or if their parents are using it, he knows to avoid the burning stovetop in those moments. And when he grows up, he'll also learn how to use the stovetop to make food. And this is really what I'm talking about when we're talking about learning, when we're talking about going through and having an experience, through coming into contact with what is unknown to us, making it known, and then utilizing that knowledge gained from experience to your advantage, to be more successful in your life. And that's what the child does from the first time he touches the burning stovetop, the first time he experiences the chaos of the unknown, all the way to when he starts using the stovetop to make food for himself, which will make him more successful because cooked food tastes better. And so, again, just to reiterate, you need chaos because true freedom includes infinite possibility, which by definition must include the possibility of chaos. This possibility must be embraced without fear if we're truly to be free. So without the possibility of chaos, you actually become enslaved by the very things that were meant to keep the chaos at bay. So, people live lives of quiet desperation because they've been taught to fear the unknown, to fear the chaos. And so they plant themselves firmly in what is known to them. And they insulate themselves with what they already know. And hidden deep inside their houses, in their little rooms, they think that they're safe from the chaos. But, I heard this line before, and it goes, "How soon before the swaddling blanket cocoon suffocates the babe?" All of that stuff that we use, that we think is keeping the chaos at bay, our new house, our new car, our brand new phone, our new family, our new job. All of this stuff is meant to keep us safe. But does it really stop the chaos? Well, your new home can also be a new mortgage payment. Your new car could be your new auto payment. Your new phone connects you to Twitter, which makes you very angry, uptight, and upset based on all the garbage tweets that exist from the phone. Your familial requirements can be very constraining. And ultimately, maybe you find out that you don't enjoy trading your very valuable time for money, your job. All of this stuff that was meant to insulate us begins to suffocate us. So, I'm not denying the fact that there's always the potential for something to go wrong when you free yourself from the illusion of safety. You could die out there. Well, you could also die in your cubicle, so that's not a very good argument. And there's always that nightmare scenario where you're trying to do something new and it completely fails and your life is thrown into complete and utter chaos. People think I don't know that. For the last 3 years, this is what I've been embracing with my life. I don't deny that chaos can really mess with you and really make things appear like they set you back years or decades. I'm not denying that. What I'm doing is embracing it for what it is. It's a teacher. And you have to understand that ruin is not technically a bad thing. And that chaos can be good because chaos is freedom. And we can really shatter our egos when we fail, which is a great thing to do every once in a while. Because what occurs when you shatter your ego after a particularly nasty failure is that you have self-reflection. And self-reflection is a natural mechanism when you're at your lowest low. And with it, you'll be able to see the wickedness of your ways. You'll be able to see your failures, your evils, your wrongs. And with the ruins of your former life, chances are you'll be able to build a better one. But the point is this: you're not free without the possibility of chaos. You're not free without failure. You're just not. And through the fear of failure, fear of the possibility of chaos, people often choose to advocate away their rights, their freedoms, and self-worth to a higher authority. Those who believe that a higher authority is even capable of keeping the chaos at bay have been duped into believing a lie. History has shown us time and time again that authoritarians not only fail to prevent chaos, but they are the chaos manifesting itself in the physical form from the mass abdication of societal responsibility. And this is not an action that's in accordance with natural law, as we'll learn. And no one really encapsulates this authoritarianism better than Emmanuel Macron. And he writes in his book that he shares a, quote, collective guilt for not recognizing the Yellow Vest protests before it was too late. But the truth is that the effects of the Yellow Vest protests don't occur out of nowhere. If you couldn't see those patterns after decades upon decades of injustices and ignorance of the warning signs of acting in such an authoritarian way that France and Germany have been acting in the European Union, then you're just ignoring the very thing that allows chaos to manifest itself among the masses. Large-scale chaos needs a lot of mental and psychic energy before it can manifest itself on the physical plane. Many millions of minds had to be thoroughly thinking and considering and trying any means of non-aggression for years before dissidents find themselves protesting in the streets for every weekend, the likes of which that have been going on in France for the past year. And when chaos manifests itself in society, it's important to understand that this isn't a time to panic. This is our opportunity, because chaos is the father of opportunity. Take, for example, the chaos that we experienced after the housing bubble burst in 2007 and 2008. Those who were affected by the bubble being burst were not prepared for the chaos that ensued. However, those who were prepared were able to seize on the opportunity and take advantage of historically low interest rates, short sales, and foreclosure opportunities that resulted in the greatest economic boom in history, which is what we've experienced from 2011 to 2020. And I don't mean to talk about that as an example in terms of trying to offend or insult anyone who was affected by the Great Recession. I just want to remind you that that was only a decade ago that occurred. And that was terrifying. It was chaotic. And it's just a friendly reminder that chaos can only be placed at bay. Chaos will always occur. It's the rhythm of life. You have order and you have chaos. And chaos will always return. This is what winter is coming means from Game of Thrones. But talking about it in terms of our winters, you don't fear winter because you know that winter is always coming. Therefore, you prepare for it by buying a coat. Likewise, you shouldn't fear chaos because now you know that the chaos is coming. So even in the most abundant and successful times in human history, always, always, always prepare for the chaos to return. And that way, the chaos can't surprise you. You won't be one of the people who gets foreclosed upon because you'll be preparing for it. And all this means is that you're saving your money. You're getting ready to use that money when the next chaos appears itself in a grand scale or at an individual level. If you have an experience where chaos manifests itself in your life regularly, as just occurring just to you. So like if you find out that your kid or you yourself are experiencing something that is going to take up a lot of financial cost and time, and as long as you're constantly preparing for the potentiality of that occurring, it won't be as bad when you inevitably go through those tough times in your life. And note that I want to make this very clear. You're not preparing to survive the chaos. I only talk about happiness and success ultimately. Survival is very low on the scale of success. I don't want people to survive or thrive. I want them to be successful. I want them to be happy. People who are surviving are struggling. They're in the middle of chaos and they're not entirely prepared for it. Chaos is the father of opportunity, and that's how you should see chaos. It's an opportunity that you've been saving for. Yes, all of the things that you've accumulated are covered and taken care of. That shouldn't be the issue. The issue at hand when chaos arises is how are you going to take advantage of it? But ultimately, you cannot hide yourself away from manifested chaos. So we have a choice, love or fear. Are we going to cower away in terror of the inevitability of chaos? Or are we going to embrace it with love and charisma and enjoyment? And thus become open to truth and knowledge and perhaps find a way to take advantage of the chaos, of the opportunity that chaos engenders. So I hope ultimately by the end of this video, you hopefully better understand chaos and its importance in all of this. We need it. We need failure to learn and improve. We need to go into the unknown to gain knowledge. It's the only way. I'm not saying that you have to leave your family to do this or, leave all safety behind. That's not the point of all of this. Ultimately, the point of all of this is for you to secure yourself, stop living on the seat of your pants, secure all of your belongings and your investments, and prepare for the inevitable pullback of the market that will probably come in 2020. Just a little indicator from a guy who does financial stuff. Anyway, go forth and conquer, my friends, and don't be afraid of the chaos, because it is our best teacher. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please comment. And if you found any of this stuff interesting enough to share, please share. And thank you for your time.